In the peak of his airness, nobody in the NBA wanted a piece of Jordan. They didn't want to guard him, look him in the eye, or even accidentally step on his sneakers. The fear he instilled in his defenders and his teammates is the stuff of legends. I'm not talking about the fear of losing. I'm talking about the fear of facing the man himself, Michael Jordan. Jordan was a living, breathing nightmare for anyone unlucky enough to cross his path on the court. He had a reputation for turning even the smallest slights into personal vendettas. This is the untold side of Michael Jordan, and you won't want to miss it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive straight into the era when NBA players dreaded the very thought of going toe-to-toe with His Airness. Let's rewind to January 16th, 1993. A clash of titans. The Chicago Bulls versus the Orlando Magic. MJ dropped 64 points, and despite the Bulls taking an L, the real story here is the big man, Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel himself, who poured in 29 points in an epic thriller. Recall what it was like to go toe-to-toe with MJ. Now, we're not talking about a casual concern here. Shaq wasn't just worried, he was downright terrified. Speaking on Inside the NBA on TNT, Shaq said, "Since the statute of limitation is up, I was terrified out there, the whole game. For one, he's the greatest player. 2, I was worried about him dunking on me and having to go back and face the fellas. And then 3, he was just so hot." Shaq wasn't alone in this sentiment, but he vocalized it in a way only Shaq can. Ray Allen. Now, we all know Ray Allen is one of the most likable players in the game, a Hall of Famer in his own right. But even someone of Ray's caliber had to face the harsh reality of going up against MJ. Let's be real, not many found success against the Bulls dynasty at that time. In an episode of the James Posey podcast, Ray Allen talked about what it was like to lace up against Jordan. Allen laid it bare. My second game of my rookie year preseason, we played against the Bulls in 1997. So imagine that as a 21-year-old kid, you are playing against MJ. I was scared to death. And in 97, imagine hearing that theme song when he runs down the floor. And people are ready and waiting to watch the game. Now, let that sink in. A 21-year-old Ray Allen, who would go on to become one of the greatest shooters in NBA history, openly admits to being scared facing His Airness. But here's the kicker. Allen, even in that moment of fear, was still a fan. I'm on the floor stretching, and he runs down the floor, and I had to look up. It was like, this is so surreal to me that I'm sitting on this court right now, and I have watched this for the last 10 years of my life. So I am rooting for you against me. That's the beauty of MJ's impact. He wasn't just an opponent, he was a living legend that even the greats like Ray Allen couldn't help but admire. Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight film himself. Dominique Wilkins also recalls his encounter with Jordan. "I remember Michael Jordan walked into our locker room, suit and tie. I'm like, what in the hell is he doing in our locker room? Is he coming to the training room? Lace him up, it's gonna be a long night." I'm like, did he just come in our locker room? I didn't know what to say. I was shocked. He had 60 points that night. Yes, you heard it right. MJ casually strolls into the enemy territory and then proceeds to drop 60 points on him. That's the kind of legendary swagger only Jordan could pull off. John Salley. John Salley, a key piece of the 95-96 Bulls squad, spilled the beans on what it was like playing alongside the Jordan. Salley shared, "I knew we weren't going to lose. When you walk in, you already know you're going to win. When you walk in, you see the other guys looking at you. Everybody was afraid of Michael. Everybody. Every opponent, every player on the other team, trembling in the face of Jordan's greatness. It was a psychological battle. MJ had this aura that struck fear into the hearts of his rival. Now, Salley wasn't the only one who felt the shivers in the presence of MJ. Steve Kerr, a key figure in the 90s Bulls dynasty, echoed similar sentiments. We all know Kerr as the sharpshooter and coach extraordinaire. But rewind the tape to his early days in the NBA, and you'll find a rookie Kerr, unsure if he'd even secure a spot in the league. In an exhibition game against the Chicago Bulls, Kerr found himself in a situation that would make anyone break into a cold sweat. He recounts the moment on open court, saying, "I was a late second-round pick. I didn't know if I was going to make the league. I was on a non-guaranteed contract, and I'll never forget one of my first exhibition games we played the Bulls. And Michael Jordan gets the ball right in front of our bench, and I'm already scared to death, like, I hope I don't get into this game. I'm not ready for this stuff." He holds the ball out and looks right at me, and I'm on a bench just kind of like, he goes, "Watch this." And he turns, and he went right around Dan Marley. Bam! Dunks it, looks back at our bench, and just starts laughing. And I'm looking like, there's no way in hell I can ever make the NBA. Kerr had every reason to be terrified. But as fate would have it, Kerr not only made the NBA, but went on to have an illustrious career, winning championships with the Bulls, Spurs, and Warriors. The 1990s was a decade where Michael Jordan didn't just play basketball. He owned the Eastern Conference. But what's even wilder, the impact he had on opposing teams. Larry Bird, a Celtics legend turned coach, recalled about the collective fear that Jordan instilled in his players. In his 1999 book, Bird Watching, Larry Bird recounted one of the most frustrating games of his coaching career. It was against the Bulls at the United Center during his first season. Bird revealed, Every guy on my team was turning down shots. They were completely out of sync. It was a difficult game for me to watch because my guys kept hesitating. I didn't know why they did that. I had never seen them do that before. Then I realized it was Michael Jordan. My team was convinced they couldn't beat the Bulls as long as Jordan was there. It's a wild revelation that even the mighty Indiana Pacers, known for their physical play, were reluctant to go all in against His Airness. The sentiment is understandable though. Jordan was a force of nature. The fear he instilled was palpable, transcending physicality and reaching into the minds of opponents. Michael Jordan's resume is the holy grail of NBA achievements. With 6 NBA titles, Finals MVP in each of them, and a perfect 6-0 record in the NBA Finals, it's a legacy etched in the annals of greatness. But it's not just the championship rings that adorn His Airness. Let's talk accolades. 11-time All-NBA team selections, 14-time All-Star nods, 10 scoring titles, 9 All-Defensive selections, 3 steals championships, the Defensive Player of the Year award, and not to mention 5 MVP awards. Steve Nash. Now, let's continue with Steve Nash. In an appearance on the All the Smoke podcast, Nash articulated the unique fear factor that surrounded MJ. He just had this charisma on top of all the gifts and skills, and mentally, you know how great he is. Playing against him, the one thing that I think he was unlike any other player I've played against is that there was a real fear playing against him. I've never seen the league be kind of fearful of a player or have that much reverence for a player. In the era before the digital age, MJ was the ultimate must-see TV. His charisma, skills, and mental prowess created an atmosphere of fear and reverence that sets him apart from all others. Now, fast forward to Gilbert Arenas, who recently tackled the question of why LeBron James isn't as feared or revered as Jordan. According to Agent Zero, it boils down to offensive prowess. The fear comes from what that person's capability is as an offensive player. So Michael Jordan was feared. Allen Iverson was feared. Kobe was feared. Guys who have the ability to score 30 to 70 points, they're feared. Arenas, along with his co-hosts, highlighted the lethal scoring ability of players like Jordan, Iverson, and Kobe. It wasn't just about putting points on the board. It was about how they did it, crushing the spirit of opponents with every made basket. Let's shift the spotlight to a lesser-known name in the grand narrative of the Bulls' success, Jud Buechler. Sure, his career averages of 3.3 points and 1.8 rebounds per game might not turn heads, but there's more than meets the eye. Winning 3 NBA championships as part of the historic second three-peat with the Bulls, Jud was there in the trenches, playing alongside Jordan. In a 2020 Q&A with Hoops Hype, Buechler shared some gems about playing with Jordan. He stated, "Well, the thing that I don't think a lot of younger generation players understand about Michael is that people feared him. There was fear. As great as the players are in today's game, I don't know if anyone's really feared like Michael was. I mean, opponents really didn't want to play against him." It's crystal clear. MJ was a phenomenon, a force that instilled fear and commanded unparalleled respect. As we bask in the memories of His Airness, it's important to acknowledge that we may never witness another player quite like Michael Jordan. His charisma, skill set, and the era in which he played combined to create a basketball legend that transcends time. While the NBA has seen incredible talent in the post-Jordan era, there's only one MJ, and his dominance remains unmatched. Now, before you go, don't forget to hit play on our next video, NBA legends and players who were scared of Larry Bird. We're shifting the focus to another iconic figure, Larry Legend, and exploring the fear he instilled in opponents. It's a journey through the captivating stories of players who faced the legendary Larry Bird on the hardwood. Hit that button if you enjoyed the ride, and make sure to subscribe for more captivating tales from the golden era of the NBA. Until next time, keep balling, and remember, the legend lives on.